So Scott Santens, who is a huge UBI advocate,
we're big fans.
I know that you talk about that.
We know all about it.
And we really are trying to get him on the show. So if you have an in,
hey Scott, what's up?
Yeah, Scott, where you at, Scott?
Come through.
Where you at, Scott?
Yeah, he'll be here. He'll do that. Yeah. He's such a nice guy. Yeah. So, I mean, literally the story is a testament to that. He had, I forget I think we reached out to him first, but he had said like, hey, I think this is a really cool thing that you're doing. He was really nice about it. So we had kind of interacted with him in the beginning. So we went and reached out to him and said, hey, like we want to do this UBI month. We are not experts. You are. Could you like essentially like kind of do a little bit of a takeover? Like, could you pick what we read and stuff like that?
Nice.
And he was totally down. And so what the cool, like literally one of the highlights of the entire 2020 was him picking Tyranny of Kindness. I actually do have it here. It's just stuck on a bunch of other books. Story of my life. But Tyranny of Kindness, Dismantling the Welfare System to End Poverty in America by Teresa Finiciello. And this was actually published the year Meghin and I were born.
Oh, wow.
We won't ask.
So this is apparently like one of the main texts that got him into UBI.
Wow.
And it's interesting because it's not a UBI book. Like it is very much what it says it is. Like this was written by a welfare advocate who was really fighting in like, I think the 70s and 80s for welfare rights. And she had been on welfare herself. So anyway, so he recommends this book. So we read this book and it's not even fully a UBI book. She does go into it at the end. And then he reaches out to us like, oh, you know, I'm kind of talking to Teresa. She'd kind of like to come on.
Yeah.
Wow.
Like,
If you don't mind if we do.
I love
get
that.
in. Yeah.
So you guys did an interview with her. We
Yeah.
haven't seen that yet. We're going to have to check that out.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was really cool because not only was it like her first public appearance in like decades,
Mm-hmm.
it was also like the first time that she and Scott were meeting.
Oh,
Wow.
And so we kind of got to see them have kind of their first like in-person-ish like
Yeah.
conversation together
Oh
that
my
wasn't
God.
email. And it was so cool. It was really cool because I feel like a lot of times with the UBI movement, we talk about all the men that
Mhm.
are championing it.
Right.
But there are so many women who
Yeah.
behind the scenes
Mhm.
have just been chugging along and doing a lot of heavy lifting.
Yep.
Teresa is definitely one of them. And so is Giselle Huff
Mhm.
of the Fund for Humanity, Gerald Huff Fund for Humanity. And
Right.
she also came on our channel too. So that was another highlight of, you know, these two women that have just been working
Mhm.
for UBI for
Yeah.
like actual decades.
That is amazing. And it's so amazing to hear, you know, that this goes back so much further than most people realize. You know, that people have been talking about these ideas for a long time in many different forms. And, it takes somebody like Andrew to really distill it. And even Scott Santens before Andrew, who did so much of the heavy lifting of, the research and answering all the obvious questions that come up so that when somebody like Andrew is ready to run, he kind of has a wealth of research ready to go in his back pocket. But, it takes people, like the people that you're mentioning, working on these ideas for decades. And even before that, really, and wrestling with them and thinking about them and debating them and evolving those ideas so that when you do finally think about implementing them, like they've actually been like put through the ringer. You're not just throwing it out there like, this sounds like a good idea,
Right.
Because you're going to get pushback. And it's been amazing to watch somebody like Andrew deal with that. That is so amazing. So yeah, tell us more about the story.
Oh yeah, I mean that was basically like we started. It wasn't our first book. I think this was like maybe our third or fourth.
Mhm.
But that was like an early peak.
Yeah.
And from there on out, we were like, well, we gotta. Basically, I think it pushed us to start actually reaching out to authors.
Awesome.
Nice.
Yeah. And
Awesome.
I will say real quick, my favorite story that she told, that Teresa told, was how she and the lady she worked with actually were the ones who told MLK about
Oh.
UBI.
Wow.
They told him.
Excellent.
Yeah. And that's kind of how he found out about it and how he became an advocate for it himself.
That's right.
That's so cool.
yeah, it was
Literally, like women welfare rights women, like in the 60s.
Mm-hmm.
MLK had reached out to them trying to get them to join his coalition.
Right.
And they said, we will only join your coalition if you put UBI in your platform.
Wow. That is amazing. That is phenomenal. And
Yeah.
It's such
Beautiful.
a shame. People talk about how that was right before he got shot. Mm-hmm. And, that was kind of what he was now advocating for. It was, I don't want to say after the civil rights movement, but, they had done a lot of amazing work already with the civil rights movement. And MLK was now interested in, other ideas to continue, uplifting people and eradicating poverty and enabling more people to live sort of the American dream. And UBI was a big part of that. And then bam, he gets shot. And it's like, where could we be today had that not happened?
Yeah.
It's
a lot of things could have changed if a couple of things that the FBI did in that particular time frame hadn't actually happened.
Yeah.
Fuck
Lord.
you, J. Edgar Hoover.
Oh, Lord. But wait, we're coming full circle. I don't know if you guys know, but apparently, I don't know if this is a rumor, if this is official yet, but apparently Martin Luther King III is joining Andrew Yang's campaign for mayor. I don't know if he's campaign manager or something like that, but he's coming on board with co-chair, something like that. So yeah, we're excited to have him, be a part of the campaign here in New York, and hopefully, I'd love to get him on the show. That would be fun. Is he from Georgia? Where is he from? I'm not sure.
Yeah, I'm not positive either, so I don't want to say. I think
I don't want to say the wrong thing.
Yeah, but that's a cool
yeah,
story.
A question for Google.
Yes.
Yeah, like it is amazing that this is seems like it's UBI's moment. Like everything is really pointing towards this is the moment. And even just seeing people on CNN, which had been during Andrew Yang's campaign, had been one of the media sources, I think, that they weren't the worst, but they hadn't been the best either towards
there was the whole Yang
policies.
blackout. A lot of the media just didn't cover him. They didn't treat him as a serious candidate. They didn't think that, they thought that he was just there to, get his name out there.
Right.
It was just the other day that I just saw one of the pundits being so, UBI,
right.
Yeah.
not Andrew Yang wasn't on. It was her own segment. And so,
the conversation's out there.
We'll
you have Congress people calling for it now. Who's really been pushing it lately? The squad.
Ilhan Omar.
Yeah, Ilhan Omar from Minnesota.
Ilhan Omar is so I'm just going to write up these articles. Y'all going to pass this shit. We're going to get people some UBI, get it together.
Yeah. And I don't think that Biden is necessarily ready for it, unfortunately. But the thing is, it's being pushed as an idea that is now mainstream and is now understood by the populace in a way that, how are we going to pay for this? All of a sudden a pandemic happens and we realize, well, we kind of have the money. We just got to do it.
Oh, we've had the money. Oh, you mean we can just reduce the military spending by literally just 1 trillion and pay for everything? Oh, cool.
But at least we're going to be seeing over the course of the rest of the pandemic, the Democrats who now have all 3 seats, the presidency in both houses. We're going to be seeing some really good stimulus packages that are going to reinforce in people's heads that putting money in people's hands enables them to stimulate their local economies and enables them to vote in their local economies on what the right places to allocate that money is, rather than having government try to decide where to allocate the money. Yeah. And I think that that's going to just continue to enable us to move forward in getting closer to UBI and hopefully for another Andrew Yang run in, 2028. What are we thinking at this point?
Well, I guess it depends on how long he decides to be mayor of New York.
As long as he doesn't fuck it up.
Honestly, after having fucking Giuliani and de Blasio, I really don't think he could fuck this city up.
Well, I don't know if you guys saw that there's been a whole controversy this week. He hasn't even announced yet, and they're already coming for him. There was a whole hit piece in the New York Times yesterday, and it's all drama. But I'm confident that, once he announces, once he gets his platform out there, people are going to be talking about the actual issues, and he's going to rise to the top as a result, because that's what he does best. He's a platform guy.
Yeah. Thanks for checking out this clip from our show.
To watch more clips or full episodes, click on our profile below.
If you want to stay up to date on all of our new episodes and videos, click subscribe.
And if you have any ideas for future guests or topics that you would like to see us cover on the show,
leave us a message in the comments or connect with us on any of our social media channels at Funtime Program.
Or on our website at funtimeprogram.com.
We'll see you in the next one.
Bye-bye.